Greetings, Survivor. I was expecting you. So you've decided to become better at PvP, and therefore you clicked on this video to ultimately become the absolute PvP Chad.
Wave, nice guy with a cold shoulder. Yeah, we cool, but I don't know you. Wrote a flower and I'm off the potion. Give me superpowers and I won't stop to the bankroll on supermassive. Big bank for.
Well, to answer your question straight away, you have to die. A lot. All jokes aside, there are ways to become a better player in DayZ. The main answer is, you'll just have to put in the more hours to become a better player. And just like any YouTuber in 2021, make sure to like and subscribe, as it does help out the channel grow. Thank you very much, let's get into the video. Now, the first step to success is, of course, the right settings with the right equipment. We'll be taking a look at what settings I use, what my equipment is, and what my recommendations are to become a better player. Now, first and foremost, we'll be looking at the settings and what the differences are. There are basically three settings you have to change, which is object detail, terrain detail, and shadow detail. As you can see, with the shadow detail on low, there's more visibility for people hiding in trees and bushes. One of the largest differences comes down to terrain detail. As you can see, when the terrain detail is on low, you can easily spot players, and especially ghillies hiding in bushes, trees, and grass. You can really see that they stand out a lot. The final setting you can change is object detail. As you can see, it's on medium right now, but I think personally, if you put it to extreme, it is a little bit better, as it sharpens out the edges of trees and bushes, which makes players more visible and stand out a little bit more. We'll be taking a closer look at the general settings that I've been using. I play on 1440p with VSync enabled because I have a G-Sync monitor. Object details on extreme, terrain details on poor, and shadow details on poor. The rest I usually play on low or disabled to gain some more FPS to play the game. As for the equipment that I use a Razer Black Widow Tournament Edition. It is a 75% keyboard. Personally, I like it a lot more because it gives me more room for my mouse to move around as I play on a very low sensitivity. For the mouse, I use a Razer Mamba Elite. Both of these can be changed in various colors with the Razer Synapse program. Very cool. They can synchronize together. And with the mouse, I play on 400 DPI. That's quite a low sensitivity, but I would say try and test it out yourself to play on a lower sensitivity, as it will increase your accuracy by a lot. For tip number 2, we'll be taking a closer look at placement and gameplay. I'll be showcasing you guys some clips of previous PvP encounters and show you what I did right and what I did wrong, so you can learn from my mistakes. So to give you guys a little recap of what was going on, it was playing at VMC Hill. My friend was being attacked and apparently ganged up by a couple of guys. So what did I decide to do? I tried to maintain the high ground to see and overlook what was going on and how many people were facing.
He's got a machine gun.
I'm going.
There's multiple, there's two. Is
that you, sir? You can see on the rock there.
Hear me?
There's two.
Wow, he's just sponged the whole lake in like I'm dead. Two. One's really weak.
So I hit one with a repeater.
Yeah.
And ran into another.
Now, maybe some of you might experience during PvP encounters that you have a shaky hand, your heart rate is increasing a lot, or you're just overall quite nervous. I would say try and get rid of this ASAP, and that's by becoming more of a confident player. What also is very important is to maintain your patience. Just because I maintained my patience, I was able to take out the second guy instead of going around and looking for him and rushing and end up dying. This is still the same clip, and not much later I gathered the loot from my fallen friends and I was ambushed again by another guy. So what I did is I dropped the loot immediately and I ran into cover and made a defensive position. I let my opponent come towards me instead of going to them.
Some of the guns people have got on the fucking coast sound disgusting.
Guys, I need you here ASAP.
Hey, sound fucking.
Yeah, I killed another fucking dude. Like there's
Kill another one.
yeah, it's fully fucking geared.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, you've got to have a friend logged out nearby an industrial building. Is what you need.
True. Hurry up, Smurf. You can
Said
save this.
friend is currently eating a full outside. We'll see what happens.
So I was being ambushed from two sides. I was being attacked from the top side and from the bottom side. Now I managed to take out the guy at the bottom, and I just maintained my patience because I knew the guy from the top would come down. Now, at the beginning of the video, I jokingly said you'll have to die a lot to become a better player, and that in fact is actually not far from the truth. Now, the issue I encountered when I was a new player was that shakiness, you know, like the fear of losing your gear. Heart rate is quite high, and you're just like nervous and you're just scared to lose your gear. That's normal, because DayZ is quite hectic at times, and you just don't want to run from the coals back to like somewhere center of the map where you died, because at the end of the day it's just going to cost you a lot of time, patience to maintain that calmness. And that's actually quite funny, because there are two very important key factors, that is patience and confidence. Take your time with certain fights, but also don't leave out from fights. Take those fights. Don't be scared to lose your gear, because it's just, end of the day, it's just a game, guys. You will die, but if you want to become better, just try and take those fights on. Every fight is different. Try and adapt, trying to learn new game styles that adapt to your playstyle, and just take my tips. Don't rush in, play patiently, and just learn from your mistakes. And as you can see from the clip in the background, I was facing multiple players. So yeah, I made some mistakes here and there. I managed to take two guys out, but I was quite in the open, and that resulted also in my death. That was one of my mistakes. I learned from it, I'll adapt to it, I'll just play safer in the future. Tip number 3, approaching fights. Now, with this I mean, always be prepared to take on a fight no matter where you are. If you are in a high tier loot location, 9 out of the 10 times there is another player somewhere in the area. So if you go door to door, make sure to have your gun raised. Is the server population this bad? It's just... that like that? Is it that bad? I guess it is.
What the fuck?
One's dead.
Nice, I'm pushing. Holding this door very hard. You need to push down the top.
For tip number 4, we'll be looking into a nice little trick that my friend Jarvis showed me. Jarvis, shout out to you, buddy. It's called the stealth weapon switch. I'll show you and demonstrate how it goes. Now, for example, you just looted a house, or you're recovering from a fight and you're sitting inside a building. You're somebody walking outside and you're just switching guns, you forget that he can hear you. The trick itself is actually not that special. It's simply just dropping your guns into the vicinity and just picking them up and dragging them into your hands. Do not drag them onto your shoulder, because it will make the sound of switching a gun. Simply drop the guns onto the floor, pick them up into your hands. That will make the stealth gun swap. The final tip, tip number 5, is inventory management. It might sound easy, but a lot of people tend to forget it, and it's quite important. Keep that inventory as clean and clear as possible. Try and organize it in such a way that you have your ammo in one spot, your medical supplies, your food, and other things. You can drag things easily around, and with the space bar, you can turn and move objects around in your inventory to even make it more easy and clear to understand. There's a funny little bonus trick when it comes down to inventories. If you have a larger backpack, and I believe it starts on from the mountain backpacks and the other larger military backpacks, you can put your shotgun or other rifle in there, and it's actually faster by dragging your gun into your hands from your backpack. So don't drag it from your shoulder, but from your backpack is a little bit faster, as you can see here. And with that being said, we're kind of like reaching towards the end of the video. Now there are more DayZ tips and tricks when it comes to PvP improvement. I'm thinking about making a part 2, and if you guys have any suggestions or tips for other players, please feel free to leave them down in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much, and good luck surviving.